Good afternoon, guys. This is UD and I will continue the Unified Networking Lab, and in this video I will show you how to create my first lab. This is VM machine, what we tuned in previous videos. It is the same one. Yes, and I'm going and we loaded the images in last video, and now I'm going to create my first lab here. So I created on a Visio, using Visio, I created some diagram, and you can see this. And I'm going to create it. Let's do it. So the first thing we need a router switch will be Dynamics. This is just for test purposes. These will be an Arista switches and ASA. The host will be used like an IOL routers, just for a ping purposes. Yes, I will use some nodes from UNL. Let's do. So I'm going to Labs, tab Actions, and the actions you're gonna create folder. For example, it will be my test folder. Uh, jump into the folder. I'm into the folder now, and we can create a new lab. The lab name will be my test lab. The version will be 1. Its author is up to you. And add. So this is a working screen, and now you can see on the bottom you can see that you are in edit mode. All right. The next step, we have to start at nodes. Actions, nodes. We decide that per our topology, the router internet and R1 GV will be IO, and we have another 1 and 2 which will be IO routers as well. So we need total 4 routers. Let's do it. Okay, we are taking the layer 3 image, right? And now I'm going to add 4 nodes, and later we will edit on the working screen. So we have the serial connection between router internet and GV. That's me, and so I'm leaving it. So and RAM, yeah, it's all right now. So we have 4 routers here. So the router first and router 1 and router 2 will be the, per my topology, it will be internet and R1. Router 3 will be the host, and router 4 will be the server. Cool. Let's edit now. Interface C. No, it's not an interface. Now, so we are going to edit. Change the name. It will be internet. It is a router, and we need the serial ports for this guy. So I'm giving more memory, 5.2, which is good. So, and let's do internet. The second router, edit, it will be R1 GW. And as this router are acting like a NAT, we have to assign more memory for it. So I'm going to give 1024. And we need a serial number, we need an Ethernet, which is good. So, and the nodes. Let's do the edit node first. It will be named the host. We can change an icon for better look. It will be desktop, and we need not a serial number. It's pretty small one. It's just for ping purposes and reachability of network. Save. So host is ready. Let's edit. R4 will be the server. Server, and we need not a serial interface. So done. Nodes are added. Cool. The next point. Let's check my diagram. We need to add the switches. The first one switch is used the Dynamics. Let's do it. Dynamics switch is in the nodes. It is a router 3725, but with a switch card, 16 ports. Node is 1. We are going to call switch 1, changing an icon to switch layer 3. So do not change this memory because the platform of 3725 do not support more than 256. Okay, and done. Cool. So we have switch 1 now. The next per my diagram, switch 2 and switch 3 are Arista switches. Let's do it. Nodes, Arista VB IOS, and I'm calling them as well switch. it is a switch line 3, and I'm giving more ports. Let's say I need 17 ports. Why I'm giving 17? Because the one interface is management interface, which is not in use. In Arista switch, that's why I'm giving the 17, and the ports will start from E1 to E16. Let's do it. You can give up to 25 if you wish. Yeah, it's so I added switch. That's only one. So we need to add another one. It will be switch 2. Edit. Yeah, let's do another one node, which is Arista. It will be SW3, and the ports are 17. Push down. So we have connectivities. Yeah, you can drag and drop. Yeah, it's for better look. So what left? We have left ASA. Okay. Nodes, going nodes, and we have installed in previous video image for Cisco ASAV, and we need not so much interfaces. I'm going to, let's say, it could be 5 because one interface is for management. All right, adding, so, and ASA is added. The next step, let's go back to my topology and count how many cables you need. Don't count this cable, serial interface. This is absolutely another story, and I will show you how to connect the serial interface to serial interface, but count the Ethernet cables here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we need total 10 interfaces. So let's do. For better editing later these labs, I'm going to, it will take longer time to create these networks. Network is like a cable. In this case, network is a cable which will be used to interconnect your devices. But I'm going to do one by one and marking these networks. Okay, let's do. The type should be a bridge. The bridge means that when you use interconnect any of devices in unified networking lab, you are using the bridge type. When you are going to connect clouds are here. Clouds, I will show you later how we are connecting to clouds. So I'm going to rename this. It will be R1. Let's think which one cable is first. This one, R1. It's going to switch 1. Let's name it. R1 going to SV1. Good. Add. Cable added. Let's interconnect IOU device interfaces. I'm going right click on device. We are going and look at this. The cable appeared here, R1 to S1. I'm choosing this, save, doing the same on the interfaces, but per our diagram, we can see that I'm using the switch port, which is F10. All right, and I'm going to connect to F1. The same cable, guys, the same name. Yeah, all right. So interconnected, we connected to 2 devices. So we need the cables S1 to S2 and cable S1 to switch 3, switch 1 to switch 3. Okay, let's do network cables. I'm going to create SV1-SV2. All right. I'm gonna create another one, SV1-SV3. It is a bridge type. Yes, everywhere is bridge between nodes. So we are going to connect now. So look on our diagram. We have used the ports F11, F12. Cool. Let's do it. Interfaces. F11 will be switch 1 to switch 2 and switch 1 to switch 3. Good. 1 and 2 is connected, and you can see that 2 networks are connected. Now I'm going to, in Arista switches, and per our diagram, I'm using the ports FA, E8 and E8. Cool. Let's do it. So just one click, interfaces. Look at the port 8, and I'm going to switch 1, switch 2 cable. All right. Same I'm doing on, sorry. That's an interfaces I'm doing here. So Ethernet 8, I'll go switch 1 to switch 3. Cool. So interconnected. If you are going to tab objects, you can see that which cables I created. You can manage the nodes as well here. You can delete or edit from here. Yes, but I'm using the topology, and you can see it as well cables which are created and which names I gave them. All right. But let's continue on a topology view. Yeah, it's better visually for me. Yeah, and I'm using this. Let's check now. It's what we have else. Two cables which will be acting like a trunk. All right. We are going to create networks as well, bridge, but we are creating two networks in one time. And I'm giving the name. It will be trunks. Trunks SV2 to SV3. Cool. Let's connect interfaces, parallel diagram. It is port 1 and 2, 1 and 2. Cool, good. Interfaces, and let's go. As I told you before, I added 17 ports in an Arista switch because first one is used like in a management for console, for SSH to this device. Yeah, it's but you can use this, but it cannot be used like in a switch port. So as you see, some numbers are added additionally in a switch. So 4 and 5 numbers are added. These numbers, because we created the multiple cables in one time, the couple and for understanding UNL itself, adding some numbers and at the end, because the trunk cable we created the one name, it cannot use the same name for two cables. That's why the 4 and 5 appeared here. But we are going to connect now, all right? So this will be connected to this cable, and port E2 will be connected to 3.5 cable, all right? So the same we are doing here, using the same cables. We are going 3.4 and 3.5. Oh, trunks connected. Perfect. We have two cables, host to SV2 and server. Yeah, it's not named it yet. Yeah, so let's name it to server. Server. All right. And we need a cable for host to SV2, and we need a cable for server to SW3. Cool, let's connect them. Parallel diagram, these guys are connected from, it is used E1, so right, it will be used E0/0, for example, all right. So I'm going to connect to port 5, all right. They're using the interface, and it will be the host to SV2, and let's connect to port 5. It is a port 5. Done. Let's do same for server. Server to SV3, going to port 5. Port 5. Cool. Just a couple of things are done. So we have left an ASA. An ASA needs 1, 2, 3 interfaces. Let's create 3 interfaces for, not interfaces, but cable for ASA. Networks, and we are going to create 3 cables, and it will be ASA. ASA. All right. So let's configure the management interface. I will show you later. I will connect it to my home cloud, and we can use an ASDM very successfully here. So ASA8, ASA9, and ASA10. Yeah, these numbers 8, 9, 10 is added by UNL automatically. Yeah, it's because the cable name is one. We have to difference, and UNL doing that. So 3 cables are added, and let's do some 8, 9, and 10. Yeah, it's 8. 9 and 10 will be connected to switch 2, and cable 8 will be connected to switch 3. Let's check which one is switch 3. Port 3 is used. All right. We are going to switch 3 and use the port 3 to connect ASA8. Cool, good. And for our diagram, here is a use of port 3 and port 4. Cool. And let's connect this one. And port 3 is ASA9 and ASA10. Push. Good. So we are added so nodes, and we are interconnected to all our Ethernet interfaces in this lab. Only one last connection left. It is serial interface. Let's do it. When you are going to interface, yeah, it's about serials. It's no serials adding using these networks. Networks is used only for clouds and Ethernet connections, interconnect devices. Serial interfaces are added by default, and you can see that serials, and if you are going inside of serial interface, it's incorrect name, it seems to be not fixed. Yeah, it should be serial 10, but it is serial 00. Okay, so, and you can see the another node. If you have a 5 nodes, you will see the all serial interfaces here. All right, so I'm going to connect serial 0110. This marking is not correct. So I'm going to connect gateway, and look at this. It connected. Yeah, it's unfortunately this is incorrect interface name, but interface name is 10. So good. The lab is ready to start first time. So let's go to actions and open lab. Open this lab means that we are going to working mode, and we can start work with that lab and around devices. As you see, the black small squares are appeared to each node, and we can start now the lab. Okay, let's do it. I'm going to start one by one nodes. Yeah, it's but for IOL images you can use, of course, the start all nodes, but it takes time to boot everything. But if you use a mixed lab between Dynamips and chemo images, like in this case chemo is Rista, ASA, Dynamips is switch 1, and IOL is router, internet, and R1 as well. IOL is host and server. Yeah, so I'm going to start and recommending to do for you to start one by one. So right click. Yes, if you need to wipe. What's it mean wipe? Wipe mean if you already configured this router and want to start it from scratch, absolutely from beginning, to clean up all configuration, do this command. It will erase all your previous configuration configured on the switch. We have emptied them. That's why I'm going to start one. Take some seconds. Take some seconds interval between starting call. Yeah, it's starting. Yeah, so you can see the node starts. Yeah, it's a pair of balloons. Host, start, server, start. Dynamics, start. Chemo first. Arista switch, start. Start. And last one, ASA start. So it will take some time to boot all images, and I'm going to pause. So my null node started, and let's configure something to test my first lab. So we are going to per our diagram. Let's look. Yeah, it's I have a loop configured with internet IP address, and then this router will act like internet, and it will. This one will be like your company gateway. Yeah, it's a NAT will be configured in it, and this is a topology behind this. Yeah, it's and ASA is used as well. Yeah, it's and let's do this. So enable. As I told you that here is a mistake. Yeah, it's on these serial names. Yeah, it's so we are going to use serial 10. IP address will be 20.1.1.252. So shoot, it's good and done. Let's do the R1. Serial 10 is IP address 20. let's check which IP address I'm using in my diagram. It is 1, correct, address 10.1.1.1. Right, now should exit. Let's configure a NOT on this router. Access last 20, permit 10. Interface 0.1. Oh, the static route. Through the ISP, it is 1.1.1.1. So you can see some duplex mismatch. It's a router fast Ethernet 1.0 is a full duplex, but on all IOL routers all interfaces are in half duplex mode. Let's fix this. Interface E, that's 1, duplex full. Unfortunately, this command is not saving after even your copy running to start up. This command will not save it and not keep it. But it happens between dynamic switch and IOL routers only. Yeah, it's there is some duplex mismatch, but it's useful. Yeah, it can work. So route. Did I finish? Yeah, finish route. Let's check ping. Our ISP router 20.1.1.1, which is good, and ping 8.8.8.8, which is as well good. So NOT line is configured, and let's assign NOT for interfaces. Interface S10 IP NOT outside. It will take some time. Yeah, it's IOL routers that are assigning this configuration, and it will take time. That's why I gave the more memory, but it can take up to maybe two up to 3 minutes maybe. Okay, let's do another thing now. Yes, and I'm going to configure per my lab. I have the VLAN 25 configured on a switch 1. The mismatch on the which ports are how duplex it was. So enable conf host SV1 and VLAN 25. VLAN 25 name LAN, right, exit. So we are assigning interface F10, interface F10, switch port mode access, switch port access VLAN 25, good. So the same, but per my diagram, these two are trunks. All right. So exit interface range F1-2 switch port trunk slash switch port mode trunk. All right, and WR, which is good. So IP NOT is assigned. Exit interface EOO is IP NOT inside. Cool. So our configuration on gateway is done and switch 1 is configured. Let's jump into switch 2, which is a restart, and I will show you that the commands is absolutely like on the Cisco switch. Show run, yeah, and we can see, yeah, we can see that it's a 16 ports, and one is a management port, which is not used like on a switch. It's an spanning tree mode is by default multiple spanning tree. Let's go change it. Host will be SV3. No, it's SV2. SV. So we need a better to do. It's for a shorter time. Let's do on a switch 3. Enable conf host SV3. We are at spanning tree mode. Rapid spanning. Rapid. Yeah, that's correct. Rapid spanning tree. Okay. VLAN 25. We need this. Main LAN. Right. Okay. And we have to assign port Ethernet 8, interface E8, switch port, mode, trunk. Yeah, it's because no encapsulation by default. Arista switch has .1Q encapsulation. As well, we have to assign VLAN 25, which will be an internet for ASA gigabit 00. It's going to Ethernet 3. Let's do it. Interface E3, switch port mode access, switch port access VLAN 25, and we are. So switch done, and let's jump to ASA now. I'm jumping to ASA. ASA is a little bit blaming that they have to buy some license, but I have not license. All right. Conf the host name ASA. All right. Interface GO0. Okay, good. So GO name if outside security level is 0 by default. It's assigned. An IP address will be given 10.1.1. Choose an address we want to send a diagram. 200, 200, 255, 255, 255. All right, and no shit. So exit, and we have to assign a static IP address as well to the next hop. Let's check the next hop ping and ping 10.1.1.1. Look at this. We are reachable now through the two switches. It's coming ping from ASA, jumping to Arista switch, jumping to switch 1, which is Dynamics, and jumping to our gateway. Let's do a static route now for ASA. Conf route outside 0, 0, 10.1.1.1. Cool. We are and ping. Let's try 888. Guys, everything works. Yeah, this is my first lab show IP not translations. Yeah, you can see that we're incoming the not translation and not works fine on R1. Yeah, it's for testing purposes. And in my lab, it's in a deeper if you configure the inside and DMZ zones, and we can assign and these pings. But I'm not going to show this right now because my goal was to show how to interconnect devices and how to start this lab. All right, everything is configured, and if you are using the same or save or VR, let's say save all configurations, VR switch, VR host not configured, server is not configured, switch localhost is Arista, VR, going VR. So everything is saved. Now you can safely you can stop all devices now, and tomorrow if you wish to continue this lab, for example, yeah, it's just going to start all nodes. Yeah, it's I'm going to start. Let's say so I'm coming to next day. I'm starting this node, and configuration should be there. I'm opening the lab, and so let's wait the configuration. It is a NAT router, and takes us some time. Yeah, it's because, as I told you, the NAT assigning is makes yeah, it's as you can see, the internet router starts much faster. Yeah, it's because there is no NAT configured. But this router after some time will boot up, and everything will be fine. And if you are looking on this, look at this. Internet, yeah, its router is configured. The configuration is there. So let's go, and maybe in this this same lab, it's maybe I will add some cloud to a VSA, and I will show you how to get an access to through the ASDM. Let me go and I edit this lab. To edit lab is I recommend to always use and stop all nodes. Yeah, it's because for some reason, yeah, it's edit mode is useful only in when all is stopped. So I'm going to edit lab, and let's do an assign management network. Now I'm going to add network, and it will be called management. Now look at the PNet clouds. As I told you before, I have clouds. We assigned it in previous videos about clouds, and PNet 0 is my NAT adapter, first one. The PNet 1 in Unit Lab. Okay. PNet 1 is my network adapter 2, 3, 4, 5. It is the same sequence. If you're going to, yeah, it's a PNet 0. It is my NAT adapter. Next. It's like here. PNet 1, PNet 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. It is a little bit messy, I think. So that should be 11, and this one should be 12. Yeah, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cool. So I'm going to add in our topology PNet 0, which is connected to my computer, and computer has IP address which is 192.168.137.1. Okay, I'm going to add this cloud. Cloud is invisible. Once you will connect your ASA, and I'm going to connect ASA management port. I'm going to connect management cloud. Look at this. So cloud is connected, drag and drop for a better look, and going to lab open. Again, I'm in working and start, and we can start devices. I'm going to start only ASA route right now. Start, and let's configure VSA for access to HDN. Okay, my ASA boots. It was saved with some configuration before. So enable, okay, going show flash. Let's look what is there. I already preloaded in this ASA by default. Image has any connect win package if you need to some any VPN connection testings, and I have loaded the ASDM image as well. Show ASDM image. So you can see that the image is loaded and everything is fine. Let's configure now the port, which is management show interface brief. And we have management interface. Conti interface management. IP address. Let's assign something from my NAT network. It is 192.168.137. Why not 60? It can be 255.255.255.0. Nemif, it will be MGMNT. All right. Security level, I'm giving some 70, for example, and I'm going to no shoot. So, cool. Let's try ping my PC 192.168.1. Yeah, 137.1. Yes, my ping works, and we can test as well from my side. But usually Windows 8 and probably Windows 7, the pings are closed to incoming pings is closed on your firewall, and that's why please check if your pings is allowed to your PC. And in my case, I allowed the pings to my real PC, which is Windows 8.1. And let's ping an ASA now, 192.168.137.16. Oh, mistake. 168. Yeah, cool. So we are ready. We are established a connection between my real PC with an ASA, and let's configure now some username for access. Username test. Password will be test. All right. Privilege, I'm giving the 15. Okay. So HTTP server enable. HTTP will be allowed for 192.168.137.0 and 255.255.255.0 through the MNG interface, management interface, and AAA authentication authentication for HTTP are used to be local console local database. Push. Something else? No, it seems to be. Oh, it's and we are. Let's check. So HDM is already installed on my machine, and let's go. 192.168.137.16. The password, username was test, and password was test. Congratulations, you have access to your lab virtual ASA. And you can see this is an ASAV. It is connected to so version is 9.3200 and everything works fine, and you can start to configure. If you're going to interfaces, you can see this one. Yeah, and we just configure it. And the second interface, it's connected. Yeah, you can use a pocket tracer, for example. Yeah, it's to test some let's say ICMP we want to test. Yeah, so this is absolutely working thing. So thank you for viewing. Thank you for viewing. I hope that it was very informative for you. Bye.